Today I have this battery powered airless sprayer to show you, and mine has not stopped working, but it sometimes fails to prime or spray, and I'm going to show you why that is first, and then we'll take it apart fully. So the fault is, right, so you put your battery in and we've got it set to 1. You turn it on and all it does is make a lot of noise, and no matter which position you put the switch for spraying or priming, nothing happens. And I will show you exactly what it is that is the problem. Right, so inside there, let me do this. So you flip the switch on the back and all it does is make a noise, and it neither primes nor outputs anything from here under pressure. It just dribbles out slowly. And I say it doesn't prime, so there's no flow down through there and then out here. The problem is, under this black filter, remove the black filter, down in there is a ball bearing one-way check valve. Let me zoom in and then actually make sure this is in shot this time. Right, focus down there, focus on that bit. So this one-way check valve ball bearing, it gets stuck and the pump's not got enough suction to pull that down. So what you do is you take a pokey thing like a screwdriver and just make sure this ball bearing is free to move. If you feel a bit of resistance and then it breaks free, great, you've just solved your problem. But as I say, once that's free and moving like that, it will have enough suction on the pump to pull that down and pull paint along with it. But that is the main reason why it will not prime and will not spray, I have found. That ball bearing gets stuck. Mine got stuck because I left it full of water and it made like a gummy, slimy mess down there. But once I've freed it off, it was working quite happily after that. Right, now I've shown you how to fix it. I didn't realise that until I'd already taken it apart the first time. Because, well, I was spraying. I bought this about a year ago now, and I sprayed some decking and I sprayed a fence using both oil-based and water-based paints, and it sprays them all fine. And yeah, and then I put it away in the garage and forgot about it for a year. And then I went to spray phosphoric acid for a bit of rust treatment on a few things. And I think my phosphoric acid is a lot stronger than it says on the bottle, because what it's done is strip all of the zinc plating off of all of the zinc plated parts. They're not stainless. Some of them are stainless. I think that one might be stainless, but the one on the pipe is definitely not stainless because it fizzed and all of the zinc came off it, and I've wrecked the gun as well. So this bit actually works fine. This is still operational, but the cheap gun has suffered some internal death, and I'll take it apart and show you that as well. But I mean, the interesting bit is this. So this was advertised as a 21 volt Makita battery powered spray, and obviously Makita don't make 21 volt batteries, so I bought it in the hopefully the chance that the 18 volt batteries work, and they work fine. I presume, obviously, let's just take it apart. Right, first things first, I need a 17 spanner for that. Get the pipe off just to get it off and out of my way. As I say, this was zinc coated, it's now not zinc coated anymore. I was also using it to spray a mixture of chainsaw oil and petrol, which is a favourite for the cheap fluid film type efforts. But as I say, the gun is self-destructed. I took it apart and there was bits of plastic inside it. I don't know where and there's a filter in there, and the bit of plastic made it past the filter, which means it's either part of a filter or part of the gun is falling apart inside. So, let's see, I've already been in and taken this apart once before, so right, that should be it. It should be in bits now. Shouldn't have got all the screws out. Right, did I even undo that one? Nope. As I say, this has survived oil-based paint and water-based paint, so pretty much it'll spray anything that's thin enough. You don't have to have it like super watery thin, but just like thin paint would be fine. I don't know what I just fired off it, but it landed behind me. Pass. Right. And then we can see the insides. Let me bring you down for a look. Wait till I wipe my hand off the oiliness. Right, let's start at the battery. So, battery connector here. I imagine they make this in all different shapes for different batteries. I mean, not obviously, not just Makita, but all other sorts of batteries. I imagine they put it with other things. We've got a simple on-off switch at the back. Not even, I mean, it's all soldered, which is, I mean, it's good, I suppose, because you reduce your vibration problems from there. Battery switch, and then the potentiometer type deal up here. That just looks like literally a potentiometer, and yeah, I think it's like a potentiometer and an on-off switch, because I think max is, yeah, it's got like a switch at 6. Whatever that switch makes, perhaps it bypasses it and runs in full power. Got a, I'm going to presume is a speed controller type. Ah, no, it's a, well, it's a speed controller, but it's a brushless motor, you know, a 3-phase brushless motor. You can see the 3 wires coming out and going into the motor there. So we've got our 3-phase motor, and another 2 wires come from the controller, go to this pressure sensor, probably pressure transducer that's in the output end of the pump where it's producing pressure. But yeah, it's not a lot of high-tech shizzle whizzle, I imagine. Basically just your potentiometer telling what speed to run the motor at, and you've got a pressure feedback that stops the motor when you get to asset pressure. That's it. There's no pressure adjustment. It's just how fast the motor runs, which I can demonstrate by turning it on. Where is the battery? Let's jam the battery into the things. Okay, that's precarious. Lovely. Right, we're on position 1 just now. So if you turn on position 1, I just sprayed oil all over the bench that way. Let me just put a bit of duster there to stop any more excitement going that way. Right, anyway, turn it on. And then as I say, the potentiometer turn it up, just makes the motor spin faster. But the pressure cutout will remain the same. It's just it's the amount of volume that it can produce spinning faster. So your more paint it throws at it. And then it just cuts out once it gets to, like when you let go of the trigger, it stops once it goes up to pressure. But yeah, it's not a lot of high-tech shizzle whizzle going on in there. It's pretty simple. I haven't taken the other side is just it's not a switch, it's a valve. The valve that changes it between prime, because when it primes, it bypasses that output and does like a loop of filling inside that, and then it sprays out that bit there and swirls it, so it's priming the head. And then you switch it to spray and it stops diverting up that way and diverts it out the hole in the front, the oily hole at the moment. But yeah, that's about it. It does work. Well, it did work. This end's fine. We'll now take apart the gun. I'll show you the insides of the gun. But there's not a lot in there to A, go wrong, or B, fix. You're just a spinny motor and a plungy pistony thing, which I'm not taking apart. I refused to go any further. I mean, it's a piston in a hole, but it's not like it's super high tech here. Take apart and repair it if it came to it. Right, as I say, there's nothing holding most of this stuff in place apart from gravity and hopes. That could probably be better affixed somewhere in there, but it's not, so here we are. We'll just leave that there, that'll be fine. And we'll jam that switch in once we're ready. Right, let's snap that back in there. Something's not going somewhere. I don't know what. Somebody doesn't want to go back together. I haven't moved anything. Apart from that. Well, that's better that time. Oh, no. The switch just gets jammed in once you're there. Ta-da! And reapply screws. Right, that was that bit, the bit that actually works. You just sit there. Right, this is the gun head pressure spray bit that doesn't work. Let's take it apart. I think I've got it over tightened because I was trying to get it to stop leaking so I could use it, but we have failed and that's the wrong way. That'll be why it's getting tighter. Right, so these are pretty simple as well. That's the head, and there's the we'll call it the needle that you pull back to let all the oil out of it. Or this is full of oil. What a mess I'm making. For the love of God. I'll say I mostly bought this spraying painty thing because I absolutely hate painting, and the faster I can do it, the better. But that, well, it worked the first time. I'm not gonna lie, it did work the first time. Right, so this is the nozzle, which has got a fan end and a hole end, and you're supposed to be able to turn it round while it's inside the gun. Like, so you've got your fan end for spraying, and then if that was to get blocked, you're supposed to be able to rotate it round and then blast it the wrong way into a bucket or receptacle to get rid of the blasty bit. But that's so that's like supposed to be a high tolerance machined fit, because it fits in against the other little piece in here, which is this piece, which is, again, this is supposed to be another machined high tolerance part. Is that a chip? It looks like I've got a chip out of that edge. Maybe that's why it's leaking. And that rides on that groove there. So you've got, you know, spraying one, or spraying through the hole there one way, or spraying through the thing and release clogs. But I have a feeling that mine no longer fits in a nice machined. Now I can see the chips in that thing. That's probably why it's leaking. And this is some sort of, was a plastic washer type gasket seal. It looks a bit squashed now I see it. I wonder if that's also part of the leaking problem. See, it doesn't leak when it's not spraying, if that makes sense. So the needle and seat in there is fine, so when it stops, it doesn't leak. It all turns off, nothing leaks. But as soon as you squeeze the handle and let your high pressure paint, oil, whatever it is, out of here and trying to go through the spraying end, then it's sprayed out of everywhere possible up the head of this gun. So perhaps I don't need a whole new gun, I just need a new, this part and those bits. Because in here as well, this is the directional head. So once you've got that screwed on into your gun, just use your imagination here. So that's screwed on and tight. So see, because it's only supposed to be hand tight, that's why it's got the finger grooves. You're only supposed to need it to be hand tight. So you can adjust either your spray fan, so you're spraying that way or that way to adjust the fan. You can turn that by hand. It shouldn't have to be so tight that you can't undo it. So, as I said, there is a plastic. Is that just part of the head, that plastic part? I think it is. It's not so much a, it's not a mating surface, it's just a part of that plastic guard that's supposed to seal down against this head, this sort of machine surface here, or this, or that, or yeah, it's kind of supposed to. Yeah, and mine's not. Mine is no longer sealing. That is now leaking. These aren't expensive. Like, you can get a new spray head thing for like 20 quid. So I will probably just get a new spray head bit. Right, let's have a look at the insides. Please be a 19. No, of course it's not. Right, fine. Be like that. Am I going to be able to squidge that in there? Yes, right, anyway. Lefty loosey. No, the other lefty. Right, that lets us unscrew that bit, because in here is where the filter lives. So that this is the handle, is just basically a metal tube. There's nothing exciting in that bit. But in the gun head here, you have a replaceable filter to filter out all the chunks. I can actually see some chunks in it. Focus. They're not off the bench, they're actually chunks it's sucked in from somewhere. But as I say, I had a chunk of plastic that was past the filter and it was inside the needle end and the seat, and it was preventing sealing. Let me see if I can get. I mean, it's already junk, so I don't see any point in going and finding the proper tools. We'll just do it. Oh man, who timed that? Was it me? Was it me? It must have been me. Going in. Seriously. Oh, really? So, in here should be the so that is the, we'll call it the needle, and it's got a rubber tip for seating against the inside of this bit to seal, to let go, or to cut off the flow when you release the trigger. And as I say, this end was working fine. It was sealing off that part, it just leaked everything after that point. But I'll just buy a new gun. I'm not putting that back together. That's going straight in the bin. So I think this is a knockoff of a Graco product. I mean, Graco have been making spray and paintless sprayer things for, they might even have been the first, I'm not sure, but there's like two big brands. There's a blue one and a yellow one. What's the yellow one? Wagner? Is it Wagner? Anyway, Wagner, Graco, they make the really expensive, like top tier stuff, and then everybody else just kind of copies it. But that's what we've got. We've got the cheap one, and it works. Well, it did work. I just need a new spray head for it, but it will continue to work, and I will continue to use it to spray inappropriate products at things. Not like 100% phosphoric acid that eats through your zinc plated things, which incidentally I found out that it eats through zinc plated stuff, which is handy if you're welding any zinc plated nuts and bolts and things. You can drop them in old phosphoric acid, burn off the zinc coating, and then you can weld a clean steel surface, which bit of extra information I didn't realise was a thing. But yeah, where's that filter gone? Not sure how much use this filter is with holes that size. I suppose it stops the big chunks getting in the motor, but you will have to take it out to press the ball bearing to unseat it so that it primes and sprays. But I thought I would just let you see it and see the insides while I was taking it apart to fix it. So any questions, comments, anything like that, please leave them down below. I'll try my very best to answer them. As always, thanks for watching.